On September 11th, 2001, four Boeing 767 aircraft crashed into various areas and symbols of power in the United States. These attacks marked a new time period in the U.S., a time which has been filled with fear of incoming attacks from terrorist groups across the globe. On that sunny September morning, two of the aircraft flew into each of the Twin Towers, better known as the World Trade Center. One flew into the government building known as the Pentagon, and the last plane was bravely defended by the passengers of the airliner, who fought against the terrorists and made it so that it never reached its intended destination. The effects of these attacks cost the lives of 2,996 U.S. civilians and caused worldwide panic as many were afraid of being attacked by these terrorist groups. Where were you during the attacks on the Twin Towers in New York?
I was working at the gardens of Rotherfield Park. I was training in the gardens there with the head gardener. And it was a beautiful September day, clear blue skies, just like it was in New York. And we were working in the walled gardens there. And Lady Scott came out to tell us what had happened. And at that time, I think only one of the towers had fallen at that point.
What was your initial reaction like?
Oh, absolute horror. Just, it's the stuff of nightmares. It's the things you see in disaster movies. I couldn't believe that it could happen somewhere as iconic as New York. And I'd been up the Twin Towers, so it meant something special to me because I'd been there.
What were your reactions like when you truly realized what had happened?
Oh, it was a feeling of real dread because this was a horrific act. And I knew that the US would have to retaliate, but at the time, of course, we didn't know who'd done it. And so I was thinking of all kinds of different scenarios, and I truly was scared that we were about to, the actions of the USA would start World War III.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
It is said that in 1973, the first cell phone was invented by a man named Martin Cooper, who worked for the technological company Motorola. But the first real cell phone to be released to the public was in 1982 by a Finnish company as a car phone. Then, 2 years later, in 1984, Motorola released the first real portable cell phone at just around $4,000. This product sold 250 million times, making it the best-selling technological product in the history of mankind. In 1992, when Nokia entered the competition, they introduced a smaller version of a portable cell phone that knocked the competition off the shelves. In 2002, the first BlackBerry was introduced, which was an even bigger hit. And finally, in 2007, the first iPhone came out, which revolutionized how we use cell phones and how we use phones altogether forever. The U.S. economy has played a major role in globalization due to the petrodollar being the world's reserve currency for well over 70 years. It has been very advantageous for the U.S. financial market compared to other foreign economies which have had to buy, sell, and transact business using the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar as the world's currency has allowed for substantial negotiation power for U.S. corporations, which has given rise to multinational corporations around the U.S. Trade, negotiations, and relationships were established based on the use of the U.S. dollar through collaborations of force or by threat. On November 4, 2008, Senator Barack Obama of Illinois defeated Senator John McCain of Arizona to become the 44th U.S. president and the first African American elected to the White House. The 47-year-old Democrat garnered 365 electoral votes and nearly 53% of the popular vote, while John McCain captured 173 electoral votes and more than 45% of the popular vote. Obama's vice presidential running mate was Senator Joe Biden of Delaware, while McCain's running mate was Governor Sarah Palin of Alaska, the first female Republican ever nominated for the vice presidency. Obama, who was born in 1961 in Hawaii to a white woman from Kansas and a black man from Kenya, graduated from Harvard Law School and was a law professor at the University of Chicago before launching his political career in 1996, where he was elected to the Illinois State Senate. He was re-elected to that post in 1998 and 2000. In March 2004, he shot to national prominence by winning the U.S. Senate Democratic primary in Illinois, and that July he gained further exposure when he delivered the keynote address at the Democratic National Convention in Boston, which included his eloquent call for unity among red and blue states. That November, Obama was elected to the U.S. Senate in a landslide.